Since I started talking, well over 2,500 minutes of video have been uploaded to this site. Think of all the try not to laugh challenges we're missing out on. That's so dumb. You've got anything you want to say to your constituents? Whether it's an hour-long video of an old man fishing, an anime girl raging at a video game, or a strange-looking Johnny that's waffling about the internet, there's always something ready to pique your interest. But with all that variety, I feel like recently there's a specific type of video that I'm being shown a lot more than normal. And if I'm totally honest, I want to know why. Now, for the 0.4% of my audience aged 65 and above who may have no idea what I'm talking about, don't worry, because I'll never forget about you. Slop is pretty much a catch-all for every single low-effort, low-quality video that we scroll past as we waste away the hours that we have left on this mortal coil. But the thing that fascinates me the most about it is that no matter what industry you find yourselves in, there will always be at least one person out there talking about a random problem on the internet and blaming it on these 4 stupid letters. I'm not hating, I've done it too. Whether it's being sarcastic about a certain genre of gaming, protein slop, convention slop, or good old-fashioned AI slop. That's the good stuff. You only have to look at the sheer spike in usage over the past couple of years to see how obsessed we are with it. The last time it was anywhere near as popular stretches all the way back to 2004, when it lived life as the acronym Strategic Lateral Offset Procedure. I don't know about you, I can't see too many people making a drama video about that. This isn't to say that any of the people making videos about this are wrong and that something else is to blame entirely. Of course not. But there has to be a reason that this specific word keeps rearing its ugly head. I mean, the internet has always been filled with a wide variety of content coming in all sorts of shapes and sizes. But it's not like there's been this sudden shift in the way that we consume content leading to this insane demand that can never be satiated, right? Right? You only have to look at this report from Guggenheim Partners and Apptopia, which found that on average, American TikTok users spend 108 minutes per day on the app. Which when you consider that the average person is only awake for 960 minutes every day, if you get the recommended amount of sleep each night, you start to realise that's not actually too bad. There's still so much time in the day for you to go outside and actually live. Isn't that right? Actually, hang on a minute. If you add up the time for every single other app mentioned in that report, it adds up to 402 minutes per day. Uh-oh. Obviously, this is a huge oversimplification. Most people don't use every single one of those things. But you can see hidden within those averages how the demand for content across the internet is just staggering. We'll take whatever we can get. Obviously, it's super simple to say that now there's this increased demand for content, why don't every single one of us cut corners to increase the supply? No matter how much gets created, it's getting increasingly difficult for those demands to be satiated. As Jacob Silverman said in this article for the Financial Times, the demands of the infinite scroll can no longer be fulfilled by humans alone. Hang on a minute, does anybody recognise those hands? It's not very satisfying. Don't ask why I'm in a lab coat, that'll come up later. This has created the perfect storm for slop, sludge, goop, and garbage to fill in the gaps and put the internet in this eternal chokehold. Especially as the barrier to entry for TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts are obviously a lot lower. It's called short form for a reason. Because quite simply, what's the point of relying on a single video to get you views? When you can release 20 more chaotic, lower effort videos in that same time frame, flood every single For You page you can think of and hope for the best. We are very much in the age of quantity over quality. But the thing that flabbergasts me about all of this is how well they do. Entire online ecosystems have now spawned off the back of poorly cropped Family Guy clips and below average Subway Surfer gameplay. I may sound sarcastic here, that's just my normal tone of voice. But these things have an absolutely absurd number of views, and this is just one very specific example. I haven't even mentioned Minecraft parkour Reddit stories yet, or even slime videos. This is just the tip of a horrendously goopy iceberg. Objectively speaking, this is not good. I don't think I'm putting my neck out on the line to say that. But why? Why can't I stop looking at it, man? Medusa would have killed this on TikTok. To find the answers to this infuriating question, I had to do something that I was dreading and actually submerge myself in a truly unhealthy amount of brain rot. And now I'm finally out the other side of this, I can confidently say you do not want to see my For You page. Let's immediately go onto Shorts and see how long it takes me to find something that I would deem slop.
This chocolate vendor tried to scam a little boy by secretly skipping the most...
This is the first next video and it is immediately slop. The thing that actually amazed me was not only how quickly this slopification happened. Is that a word? Did I make that up? We're sticking with it. But also, once this happened, how hard it was to break free.
Completely speechless.
I don't know why they always talk like this. This police officer left this woman speechless. It's so f***ing annoying. 14 million reposts. With all of this leading me to a startling discovery, and now with the conclusion of my experiment, I come to you humbly to present my findings. Because somehow I think I found the true goal of every single piece of slop you'll ever see. Ta-da! You impressed? What? You can't digest all of that in an instant, leading to your eyes flicking all over the place as you try to take every single piece of information at once, leading to you watching for a lot longer than you originally anticipated? Well, you've just been punked by the best of them. I wore this knockoff lab coat so you would trust me, and not so I look like H-Bomber Guy on Wish, before any of you even say that. Hold on a second, I just need to do some movement here. This is the ultimate strategy of slop. It's not like this is an earth-shattering revelation that will change how you see the world. Clearly they don't upload Family Guy clips in 240p with someone doing a sick wheelie in GTA above them to challenge you philosophically. They flood the screen with as much garbage as physically possible, so you're essentially stun-locked into watching for as long as you can. I mean, this is an excerpt from a plan for a 4-year-old YouTube video. It's all garbage. What does that mean? It's just bright colours and goopy textures to make your brain feel something. It's essentially the adult equivalent of those dancing sensory vegetables that babies look at. Yeah, that's right, I'm calling us a bunch of babies, says the man holding a pink princess cat toy. This is the only stick I could find. Or to say it more intelligently, look at Keisha Ainsworth's The Content Culture Crisis, where they say that at first it feels like a chaotic jumbled mess that they've hastily thrown together, but its disordered nature is not only intentional, it is essential. Its intention is not only to hook you in, but to disassociate you entirely. It preys on your most human of impulses to keep consuming as long as possible. That is so much better than my dumb-sounding baby analogy. I do not deserve this lab coat, and why am I still holding this? I can see why cats like it, you know. Genuinely, this is a thing I think about so often. What are people in the distant future going to think about what they are doing right now? When you're retired, sitting on a deck chair, looking into the horizon, seeing the hundreds of thousands of skyscrapers that have probably been built. Are you honestly going to remember that time where you saw Joe Rogan fat shame someone on YouTube Shorts? Or is it going to get to a point where our brains are so fundamentally broken because of how we consume content nowadays and how content is structured nowadays that something as simple as looking off into the sunset you're not going to be able to enjoy because there's no Subway Surfer gameplay alongside it? Looking to younger generations, you can already see the impact that constant content consumption is having on people. Giggles and jokes aside, it is genuinely worrying to think about. So to test this idea, I decided to make a dumb survey, con 120 of you to talk to me about your habits around vertical sludge in general and just see what happened. And as long as none of you were purposefully lying to me to ruin my study, I found that of the 105 of you that actually watch short form content, over 56.5% of you would accurately describe some of the things that you watch on a daily basis as slop, with 39.8% of you flat out rejecting the idea entirely. I then wanted to follow up by looking into this general idea of disassociation that Keisha mentioned. So I asked about the general feeling that came over you once you actually put the phone down. And of the 108 people who responded, which is weird because only 105 of you said that you actually watch shorts, so someone is lying somewhere. Of the 108, over 63% of you reported feeling negative emotions, opting to pick sadness because you feel like you've wasted time or a general feeling of nothingness. And that's not even taking into account the 32.4% of you who are super funny people who decided to pick a mysterious fifth emotion that Henry can't think of right now. I bet you all think you're super cool and clever for using something that I put in against me, but you unknowingly helped me, because even with that, going through the comments of the original post, a lot of people said that that mysterious fifth emotion was just a different type of negativity, whether it be hopelessness or anxiety. So maybe I'm the one at fault here. I'm the connective link between all of this. Of course, this is such a tiny example that is also unbelievably biased because I'm a dumb idiot who posts stuff on YouTube that you found out about this survey because of a post that I put on YouTube, and you only know I exist in the first place because, you guessed it, YouTube. This is sort of hit home by the fact that, according to this survey, YouTube Shorts is more popular than TikTok. With all of this in mind, it's no wonder that Oxford Dictionary's word of the year for last year was brain rot. We're all clearly dealing with the same problem here. Me? We just sit there, constantly unamused, desperately looking for something to spark any form of emotion in us, not even caring whether the thing that actually occupies our time anymore is straight up garbage. We'll just take whatever crumb we can get. In their article for CBS in 2023, Jackson Weaver talked to the assistant professor of digital culture at Tilburg University in the Netherlands called Saif Shaheen, who described it as being an example of this larger trend of dumbed down content, which is meant to be consumed passively rather than intelligently and actively. And that final point is so crucial to this. Like, let's be real for a second. Yes, I'm talking to you directly right now. Sorry if I'm interrupting your Stardew Valley playthrough. I don't know what you get up to in your free time. I'm going to take a huge stab in the dark right now and say that I am probably on a second or third screen. There is no way you are staring right at me. I could be doing anything over here and you have no idea. I'm not even saying this as a bad thing. This is legit the only way I consume content nowadays, or come to think of it, got any of this video written in the first place. If I don't have someone waffling in my ears at all times, I never get anything done. But this whole thing points to changing attitudes and habits towards not only dumb internet videos, but also the wider internet at large. I mean, you only need to turn your attention towards that slightly larger screen in your house that makes you feel something with Netflix's second screen obsession. Obviously, the fact that people look at their phones when watching TV isn't a brand spanking new convention. We all know this is a thing, we all do it. But over the past couple of years, it seems to me like Netflix are completely okay with this outcome, or in some cases, actively encouraging it. After watching a show with a plot twist ending, viewers could receive a mobile push notification that directs them to an explanation of the series finale. Fashion-inclined subscribers could use Netflix Mobile to browse on-screen styles. Excuse me, but clearly the reason I'm watching Taskmaster for the 15th time is because I can't quite figure out the sudden twist ending or where Alex Horne got his suit from. What are we doing here? When I was back at uni doing my incredibly useless degree, they always used to instill in us to never underestimate the intelligence of your audience. But clearly Netflix was hungover that day because they must think we're all dumb as bricks. I mean, a few days ago I started watching the Thursday Murder Club, which I enjoyed, but I couldn't help but notice how often in the first 5 minutes characters would constantly explain who they are, what their motivations were, and what they plan to do with the rest of their day. It was exhausting. To take a leaf out of Netflix's book, let's see what's on TV here, and hopefully it will really conveniently help me nudge this point across the goal line. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Where did you get these from? Surely these files are all confidential. Yes, well, they come from the other founding member of our group and a very close friend of mine. Penny. Ah, D.I. Penny Gray, who wanted to question Peter Mercer. Yes, exactly the same. How exciting. Will she be joining us next week? Well, no, Joyce. Obviously you don't have to read every single line from the wiki page at every single opportunity. I'm sure we can put all the pieces together. We're standing in a puzzle room, for God's sake. They're fully aware that a sizable chunk of their audience aren't actually paying attention as they desperately swipe through another app trying to keep their Duolingo streak alive. So instead of actually maximising engagement, for those that are actually looking at the screen, they decide to throw that out the window and just repeat the same 4 bits of exposition every 4 seconds so you can't possibly be lost. What did you say Penny's last name was again? Penny. My friend Penny. A person I'm close with and like the company of. Her name was D.I. Penny Gray. The D.I. Penny Gray. Her last name was Gray, her first name was Penny. The friend that you asked about, D.I. Penny Gray, that was her name. I know I sound like I'm joking, but once you pick up on this, it will drive you batty. If our brains aren't constantly being challenged, or even at the basest level being left to figure out the last name of a character we were introduced to 5 seconds ago, then it's going to get very goopy real quick. What was I talking about? I can't really remember. I wonder what else they've got on TV. Have been uploaded to this site. That horse is going for a piss. It's a powerful piss.
Something being boring doesn't make it brain rot. Something being exciting but having no actual quality to it is brain rot. This is boring.
Hold up. Do not scroll to your funny cat videos just yet. Do you want to know something strange? The day after I wrote the part you just listened to, I was looking for some facts and figures online to make me sound more intelligent than I actually am, which is something I do quite a lot, when I stumbled upon this tweet from Mr. Beast talking about the scary times that we've got to look forward to with the advent of AI slop. Yeah, Mr. Beast said that. The same guy who made an AI thumbnail creation service that allowed you to steal from every single creator on the platform as long as you paid him a monthly subscription fee. And come to think of it, it is the same guy whose thumbnails look a little bit not real recently. I can't be the only one who thinks this. Him saying that is like Marvel moaning about crunch culture or Amazon talking about workers' rights infringements. Brother, you're drinking from the same pool. Is slop exclusive to the realms of this prison that I've encased myself in? Or could some of the more popular, well-known things that we scroll past on a daily basis possess elements of that same sloppage? For those of you that don't spend a freakish amount of time in editing suites, this is how the video you are watching was currently made. Ooh, I have so much power now. What will I do? Retention editing is a phrase you may have only heard spoken by the whispers on the wind, but you've almost definitely suffered at the hands of it. What am I talking about? Basically, it's a technique that utilizes quick cuts, excessively loud musical cues, in-your-face sound effects, a lot of flashing lights, and so much shouting. If you've been paying attention so far, that might all sound familiar to you. With the only thing that separates this, with some of the things we've spoken about already, being one simple thing. Money. Oh, this can't be slop that manipulates the way the algorithm works to his benefit, because Mr. Beast spends between $3 million and $4 million on each video, because we all know that more money means more good. Oh, hang on a minute, that's the wrong image. I mean, Jimmy Beast even said it in Lucas Shaw's article for Bloomberg last month. We're not where we are because I'm a genius level business guy. I know how to make better content than anyone else in the world. Better content is doing an immense amount of heavy lifting in that sentence. I'm assuming it's being sent as a part of the next Olympic delegation? As you can tell, I had a little bit of a theory that Mr. Beast produced some of the most sludge-induced content on the entire internet. So, in order to prove that, I had to do one thing. Watch his videos. You can tell why I'm a little bit stroppy. I wanted to try and take the biases out of this and come at it from a structural angle. So I had this thought to analyse the editing and composition of his 5 most recent videos at the time of recording, breaking them down into separate windows, the first 30 seconds, the first 3 minutes, and the first 10 minutes. I then decided to make a spreadsheet. How horrifying. Where I could chart every cut I saw in those windows with the hopes of being able to analyse the differences between one another, measuring the flow of the video and being able to spot any patterns that emerge, blah blah blah, boring editing stuff. This is what I get up to in my free time. Would I recommend it? No. Are you mad? Strangely enough, the thing that I found out almost immediately was that the videos were terrible. No. But mainly, across the board, from video to video, the rate of cuts stayed incredibly consistent. I came into this thinking that the first 30 seconds of each video would be absolutely front-loaded with edits to overwhelm people, and then as the video progressed, these would slow down. But no, this overloading effect is almost constant. No matter what section of the video you're in, no matter what emotion you're trying to convey, there is always a cut on average every 1.8 seconds. Which caught me off guard because I distinctly remember this tweet where Mr. Beast said they've made a conscious choice to slow down their videos, to focus on storytelling, let scenes breathe, yell less. For reference, this is the opening of his last 5 videos.
Would you risk take off your block? I built this hidden in...
Yeah, there's definitely not shouting there, is there? To see if he's a man of his word, I actually went back and watched some of his older, more popular videos to run this test again. And you know what? I guess that number is lower. But that's like saying you've stopped speeding when instead of going 64 in a 30, you're going 61. That is still very clearly fast. To his credit, I actually can say that they have reduced the intensity of some of the edits. There's less text overlays, random PNGs on the screen, and things flashing in the corner for half a second so you skip back to increase the watch time. To say you're not doing overstimulating editing anymore and that you're letting scenes breathe is straight up lunacy. If that's what you think constitutes breathing, you should be banned from doing CPR. All of your patients would be asphyxiated. To see if I was being overly critical, I tried this same experiment with some creators that I watch relatively consistently. I even threw myself in there out of curiosity and, well, seems like I need to have a nice serving of humble pie because, whoops, that seems like a lot too, doesn't it? Clearly I need to throw out my dreams of being an EMT because I'm struggling with the whole breathing thing as well. This may shock you, but out of all of the videos that I watched, the one with a cut rate anywhere near that of Mr. Beast was Markiplier's most recent episode of Supermarket Simulator, reaching a whopping 107 cuts in the first 3 minutes, a number which Mr. Beast only hits once in his last 5 videos. Initially, I was under the impression that more cuts equals more slop, but when you put both of these videos side by side, it made me realise that it's not the number of cuts, it's the nature of each cut. I'm saying that word over and over again, let me show you what I mean. Mark's video utilises a lot of cuts which look a bit like this, zooming in and out to add variety to a static shot, but the through line is still Mark. Mr. Beast may cut less often, but the experience is nauseating, moving from here to here. A building's blown up, now there's a big pile of money. How did I get here? Look everybody, that baby is sad, and hang on a minute, now we're back. Rather than making use of the space you are in to make the video engaging, it's clear Mr. Beast is using every technique that he can think of to keep the audience members glued to their screen in the same way as those TikToks. That's it. Plain and simple, it is just straight up audience manipulation. He thinks of himself as this Michelin star chef producing meals that everybody will love, when in reality, he has the culinary complexity of a urinal cake. Due to the sheer success of videos with this style of editing, it is obviously spread like the plague. But instead of going from person to person because of flea-infested rats, this time there's a lot more feastable brand deals involved. Whereas Mr. Beast is a bit more covert in his end goal of flashing the screen with bright colours so him and his team can sell a bunch of garbage to children, a few others swimming in this same pool are a lot more open about it. Either they're being honest or they're just stupid, with the most glaring examples being Brent Rivera and the Stokes twins, with the latter of those two experiencing truly bonkers growth in the past year by copying these steps exactly. Step 1, you're going to need to have access to a truly insane amount of money. Step 2, use that bonkers amount of cheddar cheese to hire a bunch of actors who couldn't get cast in a show on the CW. Just find people on the street if you're that desperate. It'll be fine. This is the most crucial step, and we may lose a lot of you here, but stick with me. You're gonna have to cosplay as a 14-year-old. Why, you may ask? Good question. But anyway, don't worry if you're in your late 20s or early 30s, just find a wig and aggressively paint over those wrinkles because those dumbass kids won't notice. How else will we convincingly stumble across all these evil 10-year-olds without being put on a watch list? Genuinely, to me at least, these videos have the same entertainment value as those adverts that you see on the side of websites that you definitely shouldn't be on, that say things like, try this tactic to lose all of your body fat, doctors are shocked. They clickbait you with a question, don't deliver, and definitely give you a virus in the process. At the end of the day, it's a job. All of these creators are in a position where they're trying to make as much money as physically possible, and I think it would be naive to ignore that. I'm not expecting every single video that I see on the platform to be the greatest thing ever made. I have made such garbage in my time. But for Mr. Beast to come out and say things like he makes the best content on the internet, when he makes videos that look like this, is just garbage. You know what you're doing. Jokes aside, their sole reason for existing is to flood the For You pages of impressionable children, and if that wasn't bad enough, they use scummy tactics to keep them watching for longer and then flash the screens with adverts for their various merch and product lines, because those are the real money makers. There is obviously a reason that headlines like this keep popping up all over the place. You're trying to rinse as much money from people as you can. Although they may constantly profess that their content is the best thing on the platform, deep down, they know what they're doing. At least the Family Guy TikTokers occasionally spice things up, and by that I mean use smiling friends clips. At least they're trying something different. I mean, it's so telling when you go back and listen to interviews of MrBeast talking about how when he came up on the platform, he basically locked himself in a room and studied the analytics, trying to figure out how he could generate the most views as physically possible. It's all about quantity, not quality. I mean, that is a direct quote from someone who works for him. The content could be the literal worst thing on the planet, but as long as the scenes keep changing, the lights stay flashing, and this increasingly robotic man keeps shouting at us, then a ring of incredibly wealthy people can continue to dangle money in front of people who are way worse off than them, all in the hopes of making a video that isn't cringe. As Patricia Hernandez said in this article for Polygon in March of last year, MrBeast might very well be an advertiser's absolute dream. The logical end point of an internet that's been flattened into a samey, straightforward sludge of optimized content. And who doesn't love waking up every morning and eating a piping hot plate of optimized sludge? Gets me hungry just thinking about it.
Gambling addiction is not a failure of will. Once you become addicted, it's very, very hard to stop. Addiction is a brain that has changed.
Is there any skill involved?
No, you just have to gamble.
I think it would just be really funny to be like super far away. I've been thinking a lot about gambling lately. Wow, that just absolutely sounds like a call for help, doesn't it? Not in the traditional sense of yearning to find a place where I can lose all my life savings in an instant and also have an incredibly overpriced cocktail, but more so, how does it even work?
Excuse me, I think you're in my seat. Do you have anything to say?
You may be wondering right now why I've gone on this tangent about gambling, and don't worry, this does have a point. We all know that the odds are stacked insurmountably against us, yet even with that knowledge, time and time again, we continue to pull up to the table. I mean, for me, every time Mackey's Monopoly's on, I'll drive out of my way to buy a large meal and hope against hope that I win something that isn't an apple pie. Has that ever happened in the 27 years of my existence? No. But surely it's got to give someday. Even away from that stupidity, how on earth do you convince a vast swath of people to continually turn up for something when every single one of them know deep down in their heart that what they're doing not only isn't good for them, but also could ruin their lives if a few specific things happen in quick succession? Initially, I fell down the rabbit hole of studying casino construction, looking into the flashing lights that keep us engaged and the horrendously designed carpets that ensure we can never be relaxed. And then I stumbled upon Ellen Langer's 1975 study from Yale University called The Illusion of Control. Yes, that's where the saying comes from, and it's crazy how it answers pretty much every single question I've posed so far, which has been a lot. She set up multiple studies to test this hypothesis, which presumed that factors from skill situations being introduced into chance situations cause individuals to feel inappropriately confident, with a supporting piece of evidence she used in this being the 1967 James Henslin piece, Craps and Magic, in which they found that dice players would throw the dice hard to get higher numbers and softly to get lower numbers. I do this all the time in Mario Party. Think of all the weird superstitions you do when you open a loot box. At the end of the day, we know this does nothing, but we need something to grab onto for these things to feel rational. To test this, Langer set up an experiment that simulated a lottery, with some of the subjects choosing which cards they wanted and the others were given theirs at random. When it came around to the draw, those same subjects were then asked how much they would sell their lottery tickets for. Even though the tickets only cost $1, those who had actually picked theirs in the first place asked for a mean price of $8.67, whilst those with no choice in the matter asked for $1.96. Of the 15 individuals who said they wouldn't sell initially, 10 of those were from the group that chose their cards in the first place. They had this unearned confidence to stick with it purely because they had this personal connection. As Natasha Scholl states, in the online economy, revenue is a form of continuous consumer attention. So instead of paying for our chosen lottery tickets, we pay by paying attention to the things they present to us on a daily basis. Your algorithm is built by you. There's a reason it's called a For You page. They want you to think you are in control. This is exactly the same playbook that gambling firms go to time and time again to ensure that people risk their hard-earned money on truly impossible things. As Rob Davis said in 2022, you feed their sense of confidence and self-worth by designing the product in such a way that you increase the sense of control. Did he say designing? Does that mean I can finally use all of my casino research? Oh god, there's another cat. I would go off and show you my notebook that I wrote all of this in, but as you can see, I'm cornered right now. I stumbled upon this guy called Bill Friedman, who for 13 years was the manager of Castaways and the Silver Slipper on the Las Vegas Strip. Friedman constructed his casinos in such a manner that you would never be sure what was around the corner. This maze-style layout would constantly keep you guessing, but more importantly would focus you on the real reason you were there, the gambling. Whether or not this design actually worked is a battle that rages even to this day, but that's not the point. This technique is so similar to algorithms for you pages and basically how every single social media site we open on a daily basis keep us hooked in and coming back for more. I mean, if we're keeping up with the same parallel, how dissimilar is pulling a big lever on a slot machine hoping that you'll win big to swiping on your screen for hours on end trying to get a hit of dopamine? We have created this habit or feedback loop that associates this single movement with occasional good feelings, so we keep doing it. So if the systems are designed to keep us constantly entranced and the videos we mindlessly scroll by lull us into this sense of hopelessness, obviously it's going to result in more and more people spending more and more of their active waking hours consuming the garbage that gets put in front of them. The system is built that way for a reason. The more people that spend more time on this site, the more money both parties make. God, maybe I need to start doing this. I should spend every waking second of my day learning to squeeze every possible dollar from you that I can, and not wasting 5 hours of my life reading about casino hallways. I think we can all agree that's not a good use of my time, isn't it? They don't care. No matter the quality of the content we're presented with, we will continue to stick by it. We all know something good will come on the horizon eventually, because at the end of the day, we built this algorithm brick by brick. I can't possibly be wrong. There's a saying in poker called "don't teach the fish," because if everyone starts figuring out how the game is really played, there'll be no one left to exploit. Maybe we should all start swimming elsewhere. I don't know how long I need to keep walking for. Is this good enough? This field's really big. I might be out of frame already. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you even more to that cat over there who didn't attack me mid-video. I thought that was a real possibility. As we're talking about slop, I'm trying to strike a balance between uploading more consistently so you have more videos to watch, but also not releasing hot garbage. So it means a lot that you're sticking with me whilst I'm trying to figure this whole thing out. Speaking of trash, why not check out this video? It's okay, I promise. And whilst we're on the subject of building things brick by brick and stealing money from you, blame the wall of Patreon for this. This is all their fault. Dunzell, Washington, Dunyan Rings. There are people watching me from their balcony. This is not fun, there is mud everywhere. Wah wah!